Hello everyone. So today we'll continue with our CAT previous year question series, and this will be the set number 33 from CAT 2020 paper. We'll look at the question now. Okay. So the question says, four institutes A, B, C, D have contracts from four vendors W, X, Y, Z during the 10 calendar year from 2010 to 2019. Okay. The contracts were either multi-year contracts or several consecutive years or single year contracts. Okay. No institute had more than one contract with the same vendor. However, in a calendar year, an institute may have contracts with multiple vendors. For example, अगर 2010 की बात कर रहे हैं तो उसमें कोई भी एक institute, it might have contacts with multiple vendors, W, X, Y, or Z, and a vendor may have contracts with multiple institutes. So, and vice versa. It is known that over the decade, institutes each got into two contracts with two of these vendors, and each vendor got into two contracts with two of these institutes. मतलब हर एक कॉन्ट्रैक्टर को दो इंस्टीट्यूट्स मिले और हर एक इंस्टीट्यूट को दो कॉन्ट्रैक्टर मिले ओवर दीज 10 years. द फॉलोइंग फैक्ट्स आर नोन. तो हमारे पास इंफॉर्मेशन क्या है? हमारे पास चार वेंडर्स हैं, डब्ल्यू, एक्स, वाई एंड जेड. ठीक है. एंड वी हैव 10 years, 2010, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 एंड 19. ठीक है. ये हमारे पास इंफॉर्मेशन है. चार वेंडर्स हैं एंड वी हैव 10 years. ठीक है. अब द फॉलोइंग फैक्ट्स आर नोन अबाउट दीज कॉन्ट्रैक्ट्स. वेंडर जेड हैड एटलीस्ट वन कॉन्ट्रैक्ट इन एवरी ईयर. सो जेड के पास in each year from 2010 to 2019 he had contract in every year. Vendor X had one or more contracts in every year up to 2015 but no more contracts in any year after that. So vendor X, he had contracts in every year till 2015, but from 2015 he did not have any contract. Okay, so no contract in 16, 17, 18 and 19. इसमें क्या लिखा? vendor Y had contracts in 2010 and 19. So vendor Y के पास had a contract in 2010. We don't know which institute, but he had a contract in 2010 and 2019. Okay, and vendor W had contracts only in 2012. So we know that every contractor have two institutes and every institute have two contractors. ये कहाँ से हमें पता चल रहा है? यहाँ से the institutes got into each got into two contracts with two of these vendors and each vendor got into two contracts with two of these institutes. So we know that W has contracts only in 2012. That means what? He'll have two contracts in 2012, two institutes. Basically, every contract has two institutes, and we know that W only has in 2012. So both of them will be in 2012, and in remaining all the years, he'll have no contract. And similarly, Y has a contract in 2010 and 19, and the remaining years, he has no contract. Okay. Now it is given there are 5 contracts in 2012. So we know that the 5 contracts, the two of them W has it in 2012. We have 0 contracts in 2011 because for Y, sorry, because Y only has the contracts in 2010 and 19. So the remaining 3 contracts might come through X and Z. Okay. Now it is written that there are exactly 4 multiple year contracts. Institute B has a 7-year contract, D has a 4-year contract, A and C had a 3-year contract. So Institute A, B, C, and D. A had how many years of contract? 3. B had 7, C had 3, and D had 4. So we know that 4 contracts are of multiple years and they are of this length. A ka 3 hai, B ka 7, C ka 3, and D ka 4. The other 4 contracts were of single year contract. So we know that each institute has two vendors. That means they have, ये C नहीं होना चाहिए, ये होना चाहिए V. Okay. So each vendor will have 2 institutes and each institute will have 2 vendors. That means what? Each institute has 2 contracts. This is equal to having 2 contracts. And we know that one of the contracts from each institute are multiple year contracts of 3, 7, 3, and 4. And the remaining 4 contracts were of single year contracts. That means we know that the remaining 4 contracts all were of 1 year length and they each will belong to each of the institute because, for example, A has 2 contracts, one is 3, B has 2 contracts, one is 7, C has 2 contracts, one is 3, and D has 2 contracts, one is 4. And we know that 4 other contracts are of 1 year each. So we know that A will have the other contract of 1 year, B will have the other contract of 1 year, C will have the other contract of 1 year, and D also will have the other contract of 1 year. So these are the lengths of the contract from each of the vendor. Okay. So we have covered the point number 5. Now coming to the point number 6, Institute C had 1 or more contracts in 2012 but did not have any contract in 2011. Okay. And okay, we cannot comment on anything regarding this statement for now. And statement number 7 says Institute B and D had exactly 1 contract in 2012, but D did not have any contract in 2010. Okay. So now what? How can we comment on the remaining formulation of this set? Okay, so now from statement 1, it says that vendor Z had at least 1 contract in every year. Now we know that Z can have 2 contracts because every vendor has 2 institutes. Okay, that means 2 contracts. So vendor Z will have 2 contracts. And he has to cover how many years? 10 years from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So what 2 contracts can he have from this length so that he can cover 10 years? 4 और 1 से होगा नहीं, 3 और 1 से भी 10 नहीं बनेगा, 7 और 1 से भी 10 नहीं बनेगा. So the only possibility is that he can have 1 7-year contract and 1 3-year contract, or 1 7-year contract and 1 4-year contract. And he might have a overlap in between. Overlap as in एक 7-year का contract होगा. टोटल हमारे पास 10 years हैं यहाँ से लेके यहाँ तक. ये 7-year का contract है. अगर 3-year का contract हो यहाँ से दूसरा contract शुरू होगा 3rd तक. इधर तो overlap नहीं हो रहा कोई. But if it's a 4-year contract, then the contract has to end here. So that means it will start from here and we'll have kya? This 1 year ka overlap. So these are the 2 possible cases. Okay. Now we know that B will either have 7 or 3 or 7 or 4. Similarly, it says vendor X has 1 or more contract every year up to 2015, but no more contract in any year after that. So till 2015, how many contracts are there? How many years are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So vendor, this is vendor Z, not B, vendor Z. ठीक है. अब vendor अगर X की बात करें, so he needs to have a 6-year contract. We know that 7 has been booked by Z, 7-year contract. The remaining contracts are 4 and 4, 3, and 1. Can 4, 3, and 1 are the remaining year contracts? If it has to have a 6-year contract, the only possibility for him is either he can have 2 3-year contracts or a 3 and a 4 with a 1-year overlap, because 3 and 1 won't make 6, 4 and 1 won't make 6. So the only possibilities is he can have 2 3-year contracts or a 3 and a 4-year contract, right? Now we have seen the first two statements where we are talking about the contracts about the vendor Z and vendor X. Okay. Now coming to the fourth statement, it says there are 5 contracts in 2012. We know that 2 of the contracts are by vendor W. There is no contract by vendor Y. So the remaining 3 contracts have to come by vendor X and Z, right? So let's say that the in the first case that when first let us assume that this is case one, that Z has 7 and 4 years of contract, and this is case two, that Z has 7 and 3 years of contract. ठीक है, तो केस वन देखते हैं पहले. अगर क्या बोलते हैं Z के पास 7 और 4 हो जाएगा, तो X के पास क्या होगा? अगर Z के पास एक 7 years का कॉन्ट्रैक्ट है और एक 4 years का कॉन्ट्रैक्ट है, तो X के पास क्या होगा? 3 years का दोनों 3 years के कॉन्ट्रैक्ट. ठीक है, इस केस में we'll make this case one by red. Okay, and case two will be with yellow. Case two is that Z has 7 and 3 and X has 3 and 4. These are the two cases. So let's talk about case one first. So case one says that Z has a 7 and a 4-year contract. That means there will be a overlap in between. So the first case is that the overlap is this way. First case is that the overlap will be this way. That 4 years का उसका पहला contract हो, and 7 years ka from 2013 to 2019. This is one possibility in case one. So we see that the overlap is in 2013, and the X will have 3 years ka contract, one from 2010 to 12, and then the other from 2013 to 15. So this is case one ka first case. जब Z का 4 years का कॉन्ट्रैक्ट पहले एंड देन 7 year का कॉन्ट्रैक्ट पहले. इस केस में ओवरलैप कहाँ पे हुआ? 2013 में हुआ, 1 साल का. सो दैट मीन्स 2012 में कितने कॉन्ट्रैक्ट्स हुए? दो तो W के, one is of X, one is of Z. So only 4 contracts. But we know that 2012 had how many? 5 contracts. So this case is not possible. Okay. So the other case, other combination is that Z will have a 7 year contract first, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 till 2016. And then he'll have a 4 year contract का बाद में. ठीक है. This is one possibility. इसमें overlap कहाँ है? 2016 में. But then again in 2012, how many contracts are there? 4. Is it possible that 2012 can have 4 cases, 4 contracts? No, because we know that there are 5 contracts in 2012. So we know that for sure case 1 is not possible. Z cannot have 7 and 4. Z should have 7 and 3 years का contract. ठीक है. So we know that this red wala case is not possible. We'll delete this. So we'll come to the yellow case number 2. Let's consider case 2, where 7 has 3, where X has 3 and 4, and 7 has Z has 7 and 3. So let's consider पहले, अब जब 3 and 4 है, तो let's assume कि पहले 4 years का उसके पास केस है, and then 3 years का है. So the overlap कहाँ पे होगा? यहाँ पे होगा 2013 में। एंड इफ इट इज Z हैज 7 and 3, तो ओवरलैप तो कहीं पे भी नहीं हो रहा है। एक 7 और 3 का पूरा 10 का ब्लॉक बन जाएगा, ओवरलैप कहीं पे भी नहीं होगा Z में। सो इन दिस केस अगेन overlap is in 2013. 2012 has how many contracts? 4. So again, this is not possible. We want the overlap in 2012. कि overlap 2012 में सी अगर केस 2 में Z के पास 7 और 3 है, तो Z तो overlap कर नहीं सकता बिकॉज टोटल 10 है उसके पास। overlap only possible है X में, and we want the overlap to happen in which year? 2012, so that total 5 contracts can happen in 2012. So what is possible in this case? कि उसके पास पहले 3 साल का कॉन्ट्रैक्ट होगा, फिर 4 साल का कॉन्ट्रैक्ट होगा। पहला कॉन्ट्रैक्ट उसका 3 साल का है, फिर दूसरा कॉन्ट्रैक्ट उसका 4 साल का है। सॉरी, in this case we see that 2012 has 5 contracts, so we know that this is the case possible. Okay, now we know that this 4-year contract kiska hai. We know that the 4-year contract is from D, so we know that this is D, and the 3-year contract can be from either C or A. But we know that what Institute C has one or more contract in 2012 but did not have any contract in 2011. So we know that Institute C did not have any contract in 2011. So that means this 3 cannot be C because it is there in 2011. So if it cannot be C, which 3 it is? It is A. इतना हमें पता चल गया। सो हम ऊपर से देखते हैं हमने कौन सी स्टेटमेंट्स कवर कर ली हैं। So vendor Z had at least one contract in every year. We have seen this. Yes, we have covered this. Vendor X had one or more contracts in every year up to 2015, but no more contract in any year after that. Yes, we have seen this also. A vendor Y had contract only in 2010 and 19, while vendor W had only contracts in 2012. ये भी हमने देख लिया है. There are 5 contracts in 2012. We have seen this also, and we have seen the multiple year वाला statement also. Multiple year contract वाला statement. अब आगे क्या बचा है? वी नो दैट Z का एक कॉन्ट्रैक्ट है 7 का और एक है 3 का। अब वी नो दैट इधर इट विल बी 7 फर्स्ट एंड देन 3, और 3 फर्स्ट एंड देन 7। सो इट विल बी इधर 7 फर्स्ट एंड देन 3, और 3 फर्स्ट एंड देन 7। दीज आर द 2 पॉसिबल केसेस, but we know that this 3-year case, the 3-year contract, who all have the 3-year contract? One is A and one is C, and we know that the A contract is taken by whom? X. So the 3-year contract which Z has is by whom? Is by Institute C, and we know that C cannot have any contract in 2011. So is this case possible that 3-year contract is coming first? If the C contract is coming in 2010 to 2012, it will fall in 2011 also, but this is not possible. That means the 3-year contract cannot come first. It has to come later because C's contract cannot happen in 2011. So we know that first Z has a 7-year contract from 2010 to 2016. And then Z has a 3-year contract from 2017 to 2019. And this 3-year contract is by C, and this 7-year contract is by B. इतना पता चल गया अपने को. Now the question says that the statement number 6 says that Institute C had one or more contacts in 2012. In 2012, what all contacts are there? One is Z, one is of Z, but that is of B. One is of A, 2 are of X, but that is of A and D. So C has to have a minimum one contract in 2012. So that can come by who? By W. We know that one of these contract is definitely C? Both cannot be C, because a contractor cannot take two contracts from the same institute in the same year. ठीक है? See, it is written here also. No institute had more than one contract with the same vendor. So both cannot be C. One of them will have to be C. What will be the other one? The other ones can be. So now we have figured out all the multiple year contracts. We have figured out D, A, B, and C. We have to figure out the single year contracts. And one of the single year contracts we have figured out C. So we have completely figured out C. Uska multiple year contract bhi and a single year contract bhi. Now we have to figure out what are the others. So we have seen the statement number 6 also, that Institute C has at least one more contract in 2011, but did not have any contract in 2012, 11, sorry. So last statement says Institute B and D each had exactly one contract in 2012. We know that in 2012, B has one and D has one. Okay. So they have exactly one contract, and that is covered already by D and B in 2012. So what is the only possible case this contract can, which is the only possible institute this contract can be? C वो हो नहीं सकता, because C is already there and it cannot have a multiple same contract. We know that B and D only have one contract in 2012, and that is already with X and Z. So the only possible institute for this contract is A. We know that this other institute will be A for W. So we have figured out the A of both the contracts also. So the remaining two contracts are this B ka single year and D ka single year, and that will be either this and this. It is given that in statement number 7, Institute D did not have any contract in 2010. So this one cannot be D. So the only possible value for this is B, and this one will be D. So this way we have figured out all the contracts and all the years for all the vendors. थोड़ा सा tricky था ये, but it was a very good set for practice and for, like, obviously the competitive exams, ZAT, CAT, and all the others. So now we'll come to the questions. In which of the following year were there two or more contracts? In 2017, were there two contracts? No. In 2018, were there two contracts? No. In 2016, were there two contracts? No. In 2015, there were two contracts? Yes. इसका आंसर क्या हो जाएगा? D. Next question says, which of the following is true? B had a contract with Y in 2019. B had a contract with Y in 2019. No, it had a contract with Y in 2010. So this is false. D had a contract with X in 2011. X के साथ D का contract था 2011 में. No, A had a contract with X in 2011. So this is also not true. B had a contract with Z in 2017. In 2000, B had a contract with Z. No, it had a contract with Z only till 2016. So this is also not true. So obviously the answer is D. But let us see the statement. D has a contract with Y in 2019. D had a contract with Y in 2019, which is true. We can see from the diagram. So the answer is D. Next question says, in how many years during this period was there only one contract? We see in 2010 there are two contracts. In 2011 also two. In 2012 there are five. In 2013 there are two. 2014 two. 2015 two. 2016 is one of the year where there is only one contract. 2017 and 18. So these three are the years where there are only one contract. ठीक है? तो इसका आंसर क्या हो जाएगा? 3. Next question says, what best can be concluded about the numbers of contracts in 2010? In 2010, how many contracts are there? Exactly 3. So the answer is exactly 3. We have done this also. Question number 9 says, which institute had multiple contracts during the same year? Which institute had multiple contracts during the same year? हमें पता है एक तो W का है multiple contracts during this sorry which institute की बात हो रही है, not the vendor. So when we talk about A had multiple contracts during the same year, one with W and one with X in 2012. B had multiple contracts in 2010 with Y and Z. So A, B, C do not have multiple contracts in the same year. One is in 2012, the other one is from 17 to 19. D also do not have an overlap. So the answer is, sorry, A and B. C and D do not have overlap. Okay, so A and B only. Now last question. Last question says, which institutes and vendors had more than one contract in any year? Which institute and vendors had contract in more than any which institute and vendors had more than one contract in any year? So we know that from the last question we can see that institutes A and B have more than one contracts in any year. A and B का ही overlap है, C और D का नहीं है. But when it comes to vendors, how many of them had more than one contract in any year? W had more than one contract in 2012. X have a overlap in 2012. Y does not have a overlap in any of the year, and similarly Z also does not have a overlap in any of the year. So A, B, W, and X is the answer. Which option is this? A, B, W, and X. Option number C. Okay, so we have solved this also. So I hope the following set was clear to you. For any queries, you can contact us on the following number, or you can reach out to us on WhatsApp or the given email ID. Thank you.